My father sent a text, "We're done with you. Stay away permanently." My sister liked the message. I responded, "I'll remove my name from all loans tomorrow." By midnight, the family chat was a war zone of all caps yelling. I was on my lunch break skimming work emails when the notification hit. It was Dad. The screen glowed with a single line, "We're done with you. Stay away permanently." 5 minutes later, my sister's like popped up. No explanation. No build-up, just a cold declaration that severed years of family ties like it was a casual group text. I stared at the phone, not shocked, just exhausted. Angry, drained, I typed back, emotionless. "I'll remove my name from all loans tomorrow." That's when the chaos erupted. By midnight, the group chat was a flood of notifications, all caps rants, fragmented accusations. My parents hurled blame at each other like it was a competition. Mom screamed through texts that I was deserting them. Dad called me selfish, malicious. My sister, always thriving on conflict, chimed in with distorted memories and half-lies, acting like we were back in high school and she was still the queen of drama. But none of them addressed the real issue. Not one mentioned the 4 years I'd carried their financial burdens. The business loan Dad defaulted on, my signature was on it. The second car Mom insisted she needed temporarily, my name again. The utility bills, the home repairs they couldn't cover because they were investing in the future. All me. It was just assumed I'd handle it, no gratitude, while they critiqued my job, my partner, my choices. I was their safety net, unacknowledged but expected, until I wasn't useful anymore. Or maybe I just stopped staying silent, so they decided I was the villain. They cut me off, expecting me to beg for their forgiveness. Instead, I made it final. The next morning, I contacted the bank to start removing my name from all co-signed loans. I reached out to the insurance company to cancel the policy on their car, still in my name. I scheduled a Friday meeting with the credit union to transfer full debt ownership to them. They didn't expect it. When it sank in, it hit hard. That night, the tone shifted. Dad texted, "No yelling this time, this has gone too far. You don't realize what this does to us." Then, "Mom, we were just upset. You're our daughter, you can't abandon us like this." Finally, "My sister, they can't get new loans without your credit. Are you really going to ruin us for no reason?" There was a reason. I gave them years. I gave them safety nets, bylaid them out of mess after mess. I let them criticize me, dismiss me, and I stayed. The second I asked for basic respect, they showed me my worth, my credit score. This wasn't family. It was about access to my money, my name, my compliance. But I'd changed the locks. I was done being their scapegoat and bank. They made the first move, I just followed through. The next day, I walked into the bank, prepared. The loan officer raised an eyebrow at the stack of accounts I wanted my name off, but I didn't flinch. I'd spent the night gathering every document, every signature highlighted. My phone buzzed endlessly with their messages, Mom's guilt trips, Dad's reasoning, my sister's taunts, but I'd stopped reading. Sitting in that office, signing away those ties, felt surreal. These weren't just loans. They were lifelines I'd provided while they ignored me unless they needed something. They relied on me to keep their world running. They never thought I'd leave. When I left the bank, I turned my phone back on. 9 voicemails. Mom sobbing in one, Dad raging in another. My sister wished my partner would leave me, that I'd end up broke. I laughed. She was describing their lives, not mine. I drove to the storage unit I'd been renting for weeks, a secret I'd kept. I'd seen this coming after our last fight, when Dad berated me for missing Thanksgiving due to work. That's when I started moving my belongings out of their house, where I technically still lived but hadn't stayed in months. Now everything was safe, untouchable. That night Dad texted, "You've made your point. Come home, let's fix this like adults." Adults who send one-line banishments and lose it when their cash cow stops producing. Then the bombshell. "If you don't fix this, we could lose the house." That's when I saw the depth of their dependency. They hadn't just used me. They'd built their entire lives on my willingness to say yes, no matter how they treated me. It wasn't just bad parenting, it was a strategy, and it was crumbling. I replied once, "You cut me off, I'm giving you what you wanted." That was my last message to them that week. I spent the weekend at my partner's place. He didn't pry, just cooked pasta, watched silly movies, and let the quiet feel safe. For once, I could breathe. By Sunday, their tone shifted to desperation. But I wasn't bending. Monday was eerily silent. No texts, no calls, no passive-aggressive emails. After days of harassment, I should have felt relieved. Instead, my gut churned. Their silence wasn't peace, it was a plan. Mid-coffee at work, my manager said someone was asking for me. A woman, 50s, polished but intense. I knew before he described her. Mom was in the waiting area, standing like she was picking me up from school. She launched into a speech, saying she forgave me, that I'd had my tantrum, and it was time to come home and fix the mess. I didn't respond, just turned to leave. Then she pulled out a folder, copies of every financial document I'd ever signed. Loans, business papers, even my tax return. She said they'd talked to a lawyer, that I might be legally tied to some payments, that they could make things difficult if I didn't cooperate. I walked past her back to my desk. My manager didn't ask questions. I logged in, changed every password, secured every account. That night at my partner's place, outside the city where they shouldn't have known the address, my sister showed up at 7:30 a.m. perfectly made up, fake smile in place. My partner answered. I refused to speak alone. She stood in the doorway talking like we were catching up, saying I was immature, that I didn't understand Mom and Dad's stress. Collectors were calling. Their credit card was frozen. They couldn't buy groceries because I'd closed the joint account. She offered to forgive me if I'd co-sign one more loan just for a month. I asked how she found me. She said it was simple. I'd tagged my partner in a photo once. She followed his profile, tracked the address. They were deliberate, not just desperate. She sneered, "You think he'll stay when he sees the mess you've caused?" I told her to leave and shut the door. That night, I severed the last ties. I closed the joint credit line I'd left open out of pity. I froze the business profile with the accountant. I forgave a small personal loan I'd given them just to cut their last excuse to reach me. They had no leverage left. I told my partner everything. The years of debt, the manipulation, how they'd treated me like a resource, not a daughter. He listened and said he was proud of me, not for fighting them, but for choosing myself. The next day, their lawyer emailed, a vague, intimidating letter. But the bank had already confirmed my name was off everything. I replied with one line, "There will be no further contact." No emotion, just a boundary. They thought I'd collapse without them. They didn't know I'd been surviving alone all along. I was ready to live, for real, and I wanted them to see it. Weeks passed, then months with no contact. The silence should have felt like freedom, but it was too calculated, like they were waiting in the shadows. Then it started, not from them, but through others. A cousin I hadn't spoken to in years messaged, saying Mom claimed I'd had a breakdown and abandoned them. They're worried. "Are you okay?" I laughed. They'd gone with the unstable daughter story. Then a church friend said she saw Dad looking frail, saying I'd blocked them, that it was breaking their hearts. Maybe just call them. I didn't respond. But I noticed something. The longer I stayed away, the lighter I felt. My paycheck lasted. No more emergency transfers or surprise charges. No calls about bills I didn't know I'd signed for. I was breathing. I moved in with my partner permanently. We split rent, cooked, paid bills like equals. He didn't try to fix me, he just stayed. That's when I learned what love really is and what it isn't. Then a coworker sent a Zillow link. "Isn't this your family's house?" It was listed for sale, cash only, pre-foreclosure. No mention of the upgrades I'd paid for, just a shell. I hadn't caused it, I just stepped away and their world collapsed. Mom emailed soon after, polished and pleading, "We miss you. Things aren't the same." Then the guilt. "We made mistakes, but we never thought you'd abandon us." The real reason: Dad's health is failing. We're behind on payments. The house is gone. We need you. The plea: "You've always cared for us. Reconsider just this once." They weren't sorry. They were desperate. I didn't reply. Instead, I donated $200 to a women's shelter, not for symbolism, but to help people escape what trapped them. I drove by their house days later. Empty, no cars. A sagging for sale sign. It should have felt good, but it just confirmed what I knew. I was their plan B, their credit lifeline, nothing more. They'd chosen to cut me off. I just made it permanent. I thought it was done. Everything was locked, blocked, closed. I'd started therapy, unpacking years I'd buried. Life felt lighter. Then one Sunday, after a weekend trip with my partner, I saw their car across the street. Dad's sedan, the one I'd helped fix. They sat there watching. I didn't go out. 15 minutes later, they knocked and kept knocking. I opened the door. They held a box, old photos, childhood drawings, birthday cards, trinkets from my past. Mom offered it like a truce. Dad said they missed me, that I was the family's anchor. They were sorry, but not for using me, not for the loans, the guilt, the years of making me fix their messes. They were sorry things ended. They'd lost the house, couldn't get rentals, bad credit, no income. Dad said it plain. "We need your help just until we're stable. Just one more signature, one more loan." I said no calmly. I didn't want their money, their debt, or their belongings, the couch, fridge, washer I'd bought. I didn't hate them. Hate takes effort, and I was saving mine for myself. They stood there, stunned, then left. Mom set the box down. I threw it out later, not because I didn't care, but because I didn't need proof of my past. That night, my partner held my hand. No questions, just quiet. That was stability, no games, no hidden motives, just peace. Let them watch me now from the outside. Let them see what happens when I'm no longer their fix. I wasn't their solution anymore. I was mine. Months later, the silence became normal. I stopped checking for their messages, stopped expecting their calls. I stopped reliving old fights. But their shadow lingered through others, a cousin saying they were struggling, a friend pushing forgiveness. I ignored them. I heard they'd moved to a small apartment. Dad was delivering packages, Mom babysitting for cash. My sister back with them, jobless, blaming everyone. Their new business collapsed fast, no credit, no support, no me. I was different now. I paid off my last debt, one they'd promised to help with but forgot. I got promoted, real office, real team. Therapy taught me boundaries, not sacrifice. My partner and I got a bigger place, full of light, built together. I found an old letter I'd written to them, full of things I'd never said. I'm not your bank, I'm not your do-over. Love doesn't demand my ruin. I burned it, I didn't need it. They'd tried everything, showing up, legal threats, guilt, old photos, everything but change. They missed what I gave, not me. But I was done being their resource. They'd said I'd fail without them. Now they watched me soar while their chaos consumed them. I didn't fight back, didn't expose them. I just lived, quietly, freely, on my terms. The best revenge wasn't hurting them. It was realizing they never deserved my life. The door wasn't just shut, it was gone. A year later, they're a memory that doesn't sting. The scar's there, but it doesn't ache. I don't check for their messages or flinch at unknown numbers. I'm here living free. My partner asked if I'd ever reconnect, say one last thing. I said no, I took the last word when I left. They had endless chances to treat me right. They chose manipulation, panic, control. Now they're in a rundown apartment, avoiding my name. My sister tried reaching out, claiming therapy, clarity, missing me. No apology, no response. Some doors stay closed, not out of anger, but peace. I'm done bleeding for people who saw me as a tool. I'm building my life, my career, my home, myself. They can see it from afar, the trips, the wins, the joy that's real. They lost access. I found myself. That's the ending, not a fight, not revenge, just me living well while they fade into the chaos they chose.